Oh, right. Hello, everyone. Yeah, I didn't know that this was a game that was coming out. Like, I knew about it, but I didn't know it was so close to coming out. And I've played the first 3 Ace Attorney games, so I'm a pretty big... I enjoy them. So I thought, this will be fun to stream. And since I already know that I'm going to like it, and I'm going to want to finish it, it'll be something that we'll stream probably a couple of times, I think. We'll find out. So... Okay, so that's 2, this is 1. Cool. New game.
The Empire of Japan. After
Oh,
opening
there's
its
voice
doors,
acting this time.
a push for cultural transformation brought great waves of Western influence to this far eastern island nation. The revolution washed over the land, making life in the capital exciting and unsettling. It was a period of great change, and some was swept away by the tide. But for one man, the turbulence of that era was
Hello.
just the beginning of an extraordinary story.
Uh-oh. The Adventure of the Great Departure. (22nd of November, 8:43 a.m.) Supreme Court of Judicature, Defendants, and Chamber 5. Is X. Cool. I still can't believe it. I still can't believe this is happening. I was kind of hoping there might be voice acting here too, but there's not. How can it be that just beyond the doors of this quiet little chamber is the highest court in Japan, waiting to decide my fate? Please give me voice acting. Oh! What? Oh, no, nothing. Save your glares, murderer. Sorry. My name is Ruinosuke Naruhodo, I think? I'm a second-year student in the Imperial Yume University. And 3 days ago, I somehow find myself in the middle of a horrifying incident. And now, here I am, awaiting my trial. Hey, thanks for the sub with Prime, Firestarter199. That was a unintentional rhyme there, but I'll take it. You do miss the pew-pew writing effects? I think that's there still. Oh, I like this guy. He's got one of those headbands. One of those I don't know what you would call it. He's not obliged to listen to such abuse, officer. And who are you? I'm this man's lawyer. I'll be defending him today. So is this the character we play? Lawyer? Yes, and until the judge has given his verdict on the case, no one has the right to treat him as a criminal. Yes. So you will hold your tongue. I see that it hasn't lost its, Phoenix Wright hasn't lost its charm, has it? Technicalities, look at you, you haven't even graduated yet. And yet, I still seem to know better than you how a court officer should behave. Oof. Right, Ruinosuke? Yes, of course, sorry. Oh, I know him, right? What are you apologizing to me for? Oh, no, I suppose that wasn't my fault. But really, Kazuma, there we go. I never meant to drag you into this, I'm sorry. Ha 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 ha. There you go again, apologizing. Are we sure that he's Japanese? He might be Canadian, guys. Just like always. Though I must say, you've been all over the newspapers these past few days. Yume University professor murdered in cold blood by student. But obviously, you didn't actually do it, did you? Of course not. You have to believe me, I didn't do it. I could never murder someone. Then there's nothing to worry about. Straighten yourself up, hold your head high. Get a spam risk phone call. You mean I believe you. I know you're innocent, Ryunosuke. It'd be really bad if your lawyer that's defending your case thinks you did it, wouldn't it? That'd be really, really bad. Kazuma Asogi, my best friend, and also in his second year at Yume University, but he's far more clever than I, a star student, in fact. He's even a qualified lawyer. Impressive, considering he's still an undergraduate. It's not that impressive. What? The very concept of lawyers is only a few years old, here in Japan anyway. My qualifications don't mean much, yet. You said exactly the same thing 3 days ago. But I'm proud to have a friend like you, Kazuma. Oh, the character changed. Truly. 3 days ago. Yes, that's when all this started. Oh. Congratulations, Kazuma. It looks like you're going to get to study abroad at last. I know. I've been forever dreaming of this day. Their voices are not changing at all. Finally, those government elites have acknowledged my academic achievements and successes in court. So you'll be representing Japan as you immerse yourself in the most sophisticated legal system in the world. I'm really happy for you, and proud for you as your friend. There's not a soul in the university who doesn't know Kazuma's name. He's a living legend. It's like there's some mysterious aura billowing around his temple. I want to bring change in our own legal system. Sorry, that threw me off a little bit. I'm the best lawyer. We'll see how that goes. That's why I have to cross the ocean to see the real thing with my own eyes. The heart of the British Empire. I wish I could see it too. Then come with me. We'd have a wild time tearing up the streets of Her Majesty's City of London together. If only it were that simple. Oh dear, look at the time. I'd better be going. Alright, I'll see you later. I think I'll stay and enjoy this place a little while longer. Good idea. After all, it's not every day you get to visit a high-class Western restaurant like this. See you in English class tomorrow then, partner. So many words, but it's also this game. It was straight after that. That's when it happened. The bang bang. Oh, another new character. Asogi, may I have a word? I don't know who... Oh! Which one was talking? Okay. Professor, I didn't know you were coming. Well, this case has personal significance to me, but never mind that for now. Asogi. They tend to have many words in them, and they probably should, given what the game is about. You should immediately go to the judge's chambers. To His Excellency's chambers? Why? He was looking for you before. You advocating for the defense in this trial was a sudden decision. It seems there may be some confusion about procedures today as a result. Who is this man? I feel as though I've seen him at university before. Well, he did call him teacher, didn't he? I see. I'll go at once then. I shall accompany you. Alright then, Ryunosuke. I'll see you in the courtroom. Yes, thanks, Kazuma. Let me guess. He's not going to be able to defend, and then I'm going to have to defend myself, and that's how the game is going to start. Let's see if I'm right. Well, this is awkward. If I may. Yes, sorry. You must be the defendant. Ryunosuke Naruhodo, I believe. Yes, that's right. My name is Yujin Mikotoba. I'm a professor of forensic medicine at Yume University. Ah, Professor Mikotoba. I've heard that name from Kazuma before. As I recall, he's been pushing to get the government to agree to Kazuma studying abroad. Asogi told me about you. You and he are best friends, I understand. Surprise. As such, I feel you should know. Know what? Well, as you've no doubt heard, Asogi has been granted permission to go and study in Great Britain. However, if he should fail to defend you in today's trial, I assume he will not be able. I'm afraid that permission will be revoked. Yep. And never granted again. What? Ah, as I suspected. You were unaware of this. I had a feeling Asogi may have chosen not to tell you. He's agreed to defend me, knowing if he fails, his dreams will be shattered? What we hear is actually being said in its own language. That makes sense, I guess. But I don't understand. Why would the government do such a thing? The administration has to choose from a large number of applicants for overseas study. It's very difficult to persuade them to grant permission, even in the most favorable of circumstances. I don't believe it. But I didn't do it, I swear it. I'm not a murderer. I'm sure that's true. Nevertheless, I can assure you that proving your innocence will be no easy task. You see, there are certain peculiarities about today's trial. That's not how that word is pronounced. Sorry, what do you mean? You'll soon understand once proceedings get underway. But then what should I do? Well, naturally, I'm not going to suggest doing anything that could lead to a conviction. This is really good music. I like this violin stuff here. It's cool. Right, so as soon as the trial starts, the judge will pose a certain question to the defense. When that happens, you must answer before anyone else. You must say, I do. I do? But what will the question be? Surely not. Do you accept the accusations brought before you? Of course not. Defendant. Oh. Court is about to begin. Proceed to the courtroom at once. Ah, it would seem our serendipitous discussions are to be cut short. Yeah, it's so good, dude. So allow me to summarize. Kazuma Asogi must not be the defense lawyer in this trial. Of course, as the defendant, the final decision is yours. What are you waiting for? Do you want to be found guilty for failing to appear? Get moving. There's no point in anyone advocating for the likes of you anyways. This is it. If today's trial goes badly, Kazuma's dreams of studying abroad are over. And what's more, I'll be found guilty of murder. Murder! And so, with absolutely no idea of what lay ahead, I embarked on the unforgettable trial. My one and only chance of proving my innocence, the trial that would decide my destiny. Ah, no turnabout quote? Dang it. 22nd of November, 9 a.m., Supreme Court of Judicature, Courtroom 2. So this is a courtroom? This is what it looks like? I've never been here before? The Supreme Court of Judicature. No court in the land has more power. Yeah, no, this game really like... Phoenix Wright really likes to do guilty until proven innocent. I don't much like the look of those people sitting in the public gallery. Lots of military and other uniforms in there. The powers that be have demanded that this be a secret trial. A secret trial? A trial that's closed to ordinary members of the public. Only military and government officials may attend. What? But why? It will become clear in time, but for now... What is happening? You need to concentrate, Ryunosuke. It's about to begin. Yo, I like the judge's look. The court will now hear the trial of Ryunosuke Naruhodo. Oh, that's a reference to the guy that's the lawyer in the first trial of every Phoenix Wright game, huh? The prosecution is ready, Your Excellency. As is the defense. Before we begin, there is one point of order I would like to confirm. Yesterday evening, the defense made a last-minute request for a change of advocate. That's correct, Your Excellency. I made the request myself. Normal procedure is for the defendant's advocacy to be decided 2 days prior to the trial. As this is an unusual circumstance, I am obliged to ask for final confirmation now. Who advocates for the defendant in this trial? This is it. This must be the question. Who's going to defend me? That's the question the professor meant. But then, if I say I do, by the time he's had this thought process, Kazuma has already said I do. I need to answer quickly. What should I do? I do. Your Excellency, no confirmation is needed. As I'm standing here beside the defendant, I hope it's clear who will advocate for his defense. Yes! Let's hold it. What is the meaning of this unruly outburst? I would like to inform the court that I, Ryunosuke Naruhodo, will be defending myself. You'll be... What? What are you playing at, Ryunosuke? Professor Mikotoba told me everything. just now before the trial. He did what? He said that your dreams of studying abroad would be dashed if you were to lose. How sad. It means you don't have faith in me. Do you think I won't be able to get you off? No, it's not that, really. It's just that, well, on the off chance that things don't go well for me, I couldn't bear to be the reason that you... Yes. I knew that's how you'd feel, which is exactly why I decided not to tell you. Professor Miko Toba shouldn't have stuck his nose in. Gavel. Very well. The court hereby recognizes the defendant's desire to advocate for himself in today's trial. Well, well. Does the accused admit defeat already, renouncing his own counsel? Really?
Objection!
Objection? There's the first one. Make no mistake, counsel. This merely shows that the defendant's innocence is so apparent he's confident he can speak for himself. Isn't that so, Naruhodo-san? Hmm? Oh, yeah, yes, exactly. Exactly what I wasn't thinking. I'm not confident at all. In fact, my mind's a complete blank. I realize you're in charge now, but still, try not to look so bewildered. Well, for a mere university student to be brought before the Supreme Court, you must have perpetrated a most heinous crime indeed. Would he not know? Does he not know what the accusation is? He's the prosecution. As you are no doubt aware, this is the Supreme Court of Judicature in Japan. Accordingly, the very highest standards of conduct are expected of all present. Do I make myself clear, Defendant Naruhodo? The highest respect in the Phoenix Wright games. This will go fantastic. Yes, Your Excellency. It is therefore my duty to assess your competence for the task you have undertaken. Oh no. My competence? What does that mean? He's questioning your ability to do the job. Well, he can't be questioning it more than I am. So, let's start with the very simplest of questions. Oh, yes. Kindly state before the court the name of the victim in this case. Well, that's easy enough. I've heard his name more times than I care to remember. But, wait. I'm so nervous, I can't even remember that. What was it again? Ryunosuke. Let me guess. Your mind's gone blank? You know me so well. All the relevant information for this case can be found in the court record. Aha! But I can't even find that. It's simple. You can access the court record with a press of right bumper. If you've forgotten something, just consult that. It's all there. I thought to press right bumper for the court record? Alright, there's no time to lose. This is the list of evidence you've collected. Now try switching to people with right bumper. Okay. You'll find details about the victim in here. When you're done, just press B to go back. John H. Wilson. So remember, everything to do with the current case can be found in the court record. Now you'd better not keep His Excellency waiting any longer. Go on. Find the victim in the people section of the court record. I already did, then press Y to present. Try it now.
Yes!
Yes! The victim's name was Dr. John H. Wilson. Well, at least you can remember the name of an esteemed member of your own university. Dr. Wilson was a visiting professor from England, invited to Yuma University 3 years ago. Okay. Indeed, which is why this case has such profound implications. The British Empire is at present our country's most valuable foreign ally. And as most of you will be aware, we have just signed a new treaty together after lengthy negotiations. Hello, Asher. There can't be anyone who hasn't heard of the Anglo-Japanese Treaty of Friendship and Navigation. Well, now there can't be anyone that hasn't heard of it. And yet, despite these delicate circumstances, the blood of an Englishman has been spilt on our soil. You two are both undergraduates at the Imperial Yume University, are you not? Murdering a professor from the very institution that provides your education. Have you no honor? But I didn't do it. This case is coming under great scrutiny from our allies on the other side of the world. The court therefore wishes for a speedy resolution to this matter. In other words, our feeble government is scared of upsetting England's policymakers. And you're a convenient and expendable scapegoat to blame for this crime. So that's why this trial has these unusual peculiarities, isn't it? Ah. Exactly, our government needs to convict someone as quickly as possible. All because the victim was an Englishman. An Englishman was marked, which means that's probably going to be important. Yes, Dr. Wilson was an Englishman. But nationalities and treaties won't make any difference for me here. It's totally going to matter. The fact is, I was there at the scene of the crime, yes. Oh dear, look at the time. I'd better be going. Alright, I'll see you later. I think I'll stay and enjoy this place a little longer. Good idea. After all, it's not every day you get to visit a high-class Western restaurant like this. See you in English class tomorrow then, partner. The British Empire. Wow, it's incredible to think. Wait. Professor? I've seen that man at university. I'm sure he's a visiting professor from Great Britain. I don't know his name, but still, I should go and say hello. So I went over to the professor's table and introduced myself to Dr. Wilson. Now then, let me pose my next question to you, Defendant Naruhodo. Yes, Your Excellency. How did this professor of medicine, Dr. John H. Wilson, lose his life? He was shot. State before the court the cause of death. The cause of death? Well, obviously that was, you were holding a gun. Ryunosuke, remember that in court, every assertion must be backed up by evidence. By evidence? But how? Find the piece of evidence that shows the professor's cause of death and select present. Do it now. A gunshot to the chest.
Yes!
Yes. Well, according to this document, the victim suffered a hemorrhagic death due to gunshot trauma. Learn to read, you imbecile. That's the post-mortem report, I take it. Sorry, yes, that's right. The, post-mortem report. In the West, a doctor dissects corpses to identify the cause of death in an autopsy. But here in Japan, a police officer merely inspects the body and draws conclusions that way. Interesting. Oh, I see. As long as I'm not going to be tested on any of this later. This is a so-called photographic print of the scene of the crime. You can clearly discern scorch marks around the bullet hole produced by the powder explosion. In other words, we should assume that the victim was shot at close range. Okay. But the photo's in black and white. What if it's just like a stain or something? Thank you, counsel. The court will accept this modern scientific evidence into the record. Photographic... His headband is sway with no wind source, and it's great. The photographic print of the victim has been entered into the court record. So that's a photographic print. Well, that's something I've never seen before. It's clearly superior to a drawing. The detail is incredible. Very well, I am satisfied with your answers. All I said was, he's a guy that died. And judge is like, yeah, you can defend yourself. Let us start the trial. Certainly, Your Excellency. So, without further ado, in order to better appraise the court with the facts of the case, the prosecution hereby calls its first witness, who was there at the scene of the crime when it happened. This is it then. I think I may have worked out what the professor had in mind. The professor? You mean Dr. Mikotaba? Yes, clearly you're the defense lawyer today, not me, but that doesn't mean... Well, I can still act as your assistant. Ah, of course. When he was speaking with me before, he simply said, Kazuma Asogi must not be the defense lawyer in this trial. He really has been sticking his oar in, hasn't he? Maybe, but any help you can give me would be greatly appreciated, Kazuma. Where's the music? Well, my first piece of advice is, rein in that crazy look of bewilderment and control the cold sweats. Only if you rein in the crazy headband and control the cold stares first. The crazy headband. Witness, state your name and occupation for the court, please. Of course, my name is Satoru Hosonaga. I am the head waiter at a Western-style restaurant called Le Carnaval. Hello, Cult of Cola. I am doing all right. Ahem. I'm sorry, did he just cough up blood? Are you alright? You seem to be coughing up some... It's a regular occurrence. It really doesn't bother me. Wait. Well, it really should. As everyone knows, the capital's southeastern quarter was developed for foreign visitors some years ago. I think I should care if I'm coughing up blood. It's becoming a very fashionable district now, full of hotels to accommodate overseas guests. This grim crime occurred in one of the district's so-called restaurants, an Occidental eatery 3 days ago. Understood. Hasanoga-san, would you kindly tell the court everything you can about the incident? At once, sir. And no pretty interjections from the aspiring lawyer boy, please. Oh, perspiring maybe, but aspiring? It was just after 2 p.m. on the day in question. We have few diners that time of day. Let's see if that's even accurate. Yep, a little after 2. The lunchtime rush was over and there were only 3 tables still occupied. That fits in with my memory of it too. There was hardly anyone else in the place. Ahem. It was when I was in the kitchen putting away crockery and cutlery. Bang. A gunshot rang out, so I hurried out to the dining area to see what had happened. I found the victim, an English gentleman slumped in his chair, and standing immediately beside him, gun in hand, was the accused university student. Hold on, let me just clarify something here. While I did pick up a gun that I found lying on the floor beside the professor, I didn't shoot him. I believe I asked you to refrain from petty interjections. The court wishes to listen to the witness's report of what he saw, you amateur. But the next time you interrupt at an inappropriate time, you will be penalized, Defendant Naruhodo. Don't worry, Runosuke, you have your chance to fight back. Yeah, he is coughing the blood into his hand, isn't he? For now, we must just quietly listen to the witness. If I may confirm one point, waiter, standing beside the victim with a gun in his hand was the same man we see here in court today. Cough, cough. Yes, without question. I see. And apart from the accused, was there anyone else standing beside the victim? No. Hey, I called it. There was no one else around the table but the deceased Englishman and the university student. Huh? Wait, what did he just say? There was no one else around that table. He didn't say he didn't say in, he just said around the table? That's just not right. When I went over to Dr. Wilson to say hello. Oh, there was another person. There was a woman sitting opposite him at his table. Really? And that's not something the waiter could have missed. I've been worried about interjecting, but still, what should I do? I don't see proof. I desperately want to say something, but I was told not to interject. Inosuke, if your parents tell you to study, you're the kind of man who would diligently get to work, aren't you? I suppose I am. I've never gotten into Yume University otherwise. Are they going to tell me to interject this time? Okay. But you can't always follow the rules, you know? One moment. If you don't say what you want to say right now, you'll seriously regret it when you're found guilty. Alright, you've scared me. I won't forget that piece of advice in a hurry. And there is something I want to say. I'm just going to shut my eyes and say it. Yes! In just a moment, please. Dr. Wilson wasn't alone that night. I'm sure of it. There was a lady sitting with him at the same table. Dear me, what are we going to do with you? With your blatant disregard for court proceedings, I'm beginning to wonder if you're not a fraud. Could it be that the accused, this mere student, is not a real lawyer after all? But I'm sure of what I saw. Osanoga-san, is there any chance you're mistaken? Perhaps your memory of events is hazy. No, I called it. The deceased gentleman came to dine alone. I don't believe it. Ahem. I actually have a rough plan of the restaurant as it was that day. Please, have a look if you'd like to. Did he mark it with his own blood? Let me see. Ah, a sketch of the establishment's layout, drawn by yourself, I presume? That's right. I'm afraid I used the back of my business card. It was a turbulent situation. However, as you can see, the gentleman in question was seated alone. Well, you're clearly a very conscientious waiter. Thank you, sir. The court will take this plan and add it to the court record as evidence. Oh, well, is there a problem? Hand the plan to the court officer at once. Of course. Here you are. What was that about? He's been completely calm and collected until now. Something certainly seems to have shaken him. Cough, cough. Whoa, he's just gonna keep going, huh? The waiter's business card has been entered into the court record. Dude, that sound effect just playing on repeat is so good. Okay, anyways. So, the court has now heard a precis of the case. Yes, at the moment the gunshot was heard in the restaurant, the only person in close proximity to the victim was the defendant on trial today. It would seem we are looking at a black and white case here. Defendant Naruhodo. Yes, Your Excellency. If you admit your guilt at this stage, the court is willing to look mercifully upon you. In other words, you may have some small reprieve in terms of your inevitable punishment. I called this waiter as an unsworn witness in order to explain the details of this case to the court. But I must warn the defense, if you are determined to pursue matters further in this trial, did you say unsworn? The prosecution has decisive evidence from sworn witnesses who were present at the scene of the crime. What do you think I should do, Cosma? What do you mean? Well, I'm going to be found guilty one way or another, it seems. Wouldn't it be sensible to plead guilty at this stage and hope for a more lenient sentence? Everyone keeps telling me that this trial is unusual about these peculiarities. You've said it, Professor Mikotaba said it, and so has the judge and the prosecution. I'm scared of what lies ahead if I push this. As I said from the outset, I believe you're innocent. I trust you. And yet, despite knowing that, you're willing now to throw that trust back in my face? Is that it? What? If the accused is in fact innocent, then a defense lawyer is duty-bound to prove that innocence by whatever means necessary. Are you just going to abandon that duty? Are you going to give up on yourself? The battle hasn't even begun yet, Ryunosuke. The defense pleads not guilty, Your Excellency. As I slam the table, we invite the prosecution to stop making empty threats and bring out its witnesses. Then we'll see just how decisive this evidence really is. Point. Indeed. Prosecutor Auchi, please continue with the proceedings. Well, you were warned. The young can be so reckless. You know, many call me a saint, but I can be a devil when I want to be. What does that mean? In a few short moments from now, that dumbstruck young mouth of yours will be silenced forever. You just say I'm going to kill you? The prosecution calls its next witness. Hello, Fin Dweller. Very well, officer. Bring forth the witnesses at once. Who are these guys? Witnesses, kindly state your names and occupations for the court. Yes, sir. The great Nippon Imperial Army's Sergeant Aisa Nosa reporting for duty, sir. Myself, I find employed as a purveyor of fine articles of antiquity from the efflorescence of our nation, Nippon, and conduct my trade from Razute, a humble premises in the 2nd District. Curio Kore Kuda at your service. An antique dealer and a soldier, what an unusual pairing. Both of these gentlemen were present at the restaurant on the day in question. They must be the diners at the other table that the waiter mentioned. Myself, I habitually take tea of the most exquisite aroma at the establishment in question, always post-noon. and not infrequently converse with interested parties regarding the curios in which I make my business. I can't understand a word that the old man is saying. The wind, look. The wind is eternal behind his neck. He's an antique dealer, and it sounds like he's a regular at La Carnival. He seeks out potential customers who may have an interest in antiques and tries to sell his wares to them. He obviously targets La Carnival because it's a high-class restaurant with rich clientele. Right, I see. Although, to be honest, that sergeant looks like he'd be a seller rather than a buyer. What does that mean? Now, you both witnessed the precise moment of this atrocious incident, is that correct? Affirmative. The enemy unit was seen attacking the foreigner in what can only be described as an act of war, sir. It was that black uniformed rogue infantryman over there who unloaded his firearm, sir. This man's impossible to understand as the other. But I'm almost sure I heard a strange noise during that last thing he said. Yeah, there's like a wah noise. So this is the decisive evidence the prosecution was threatening. The soldier is claiming that he actually saw the precise moment you shot the victim dead. Yes. But wait, that's impossible, isn't it? Well, are you starting to feel uncomfortable? If I'm honest, I was feeling uncomfortable from the start. Isn't that actually impossible, though, that he saw that? If this is accurate, there's only one person marked as existing right here. So if this is if that's accurate, then there's no possible way that other people could have been in there to see it. Now, the court will hear your formal testimony, please. You will state everything you saw at the precise moment that the incident occurred. Sir, yes, sir. Standing by, ready to report, sir. There was that again. Unsavory memories of a most acerbic afternoon. What the witnesses saw. I was ingesting a regulation beef steak at the restaurant while having a tactical discussion with the old man. Myself, I was extolling the virtues of a particularly fine golden curio to the military gentleman. At that precise moment, a firearm was discharged. I observed the enemy's actions with my own eyes. The black uniformed varsity cadet fired on the English civilian, and from the back. The cowardly little weasel. I was on my hands and knees investigating the whereabouts of my mysteriously absconded precious curio. It wasn't... he didn't get shot in the back. Well, so you, Sergeant Nosa, actually witnessed the vital moment. You saw the split second when the defendant fired the weapon at the victim. Yes, sir. Affirmative, sir. That wicked there was that sound again. The wicked university cadet, sir. The cruel and unforgivable enemy. What times we live in, where an English gentleman may be assailed in the broad light of day. But this is ridiculous. I didn't shoot anyone. Is that really true, Ryunosuke? Yes. All I did was pick up the gun that I saw lying on the floor. The guy did bring a knife to court, didn't he? After I said hello to Dr. Wilson, I went back to my table and sat drinking some coffee. Then, when I'd finished, I got up from my seat to leave the restaurant, when I noticed an English-made gun next to the chair where the professor was sitting. He didn't hear the gunshot? I thought perhaps the professor had dropped it, so I bent down, and just as I was picking it up... What? Well, if that's the truth, there was obviously a criminal on the scene somewhere. And somewhere in these two witnesses' testimonies, there's a clue as to who that criminal was. There is. Yeah, the fact that he didn't get shot from the back. Ryunosuke, you must examine your right to cross-examine the witnesses. Cross-examine? Do it now. As we have heard, Your Excellency, there is no room for doubt in the testimony of these witnesses. The defendant is clearly guilty. It's time to bring this despicable student to justice. Certainly, the testimony the court has just heard eliminates any vestige of doubt. Therefore, it is my grave duty to declare the verdict of this trial. Yes! What in the name of the Emperor is the meaning of this outburst? I mean, the defense demands its right to a cross-examination. Dear me, dear me. Let me guess, the Hajimaki headband boy next door told me to do it. How pathetic. Huh? How did he know? The prosecution objects. This is a clear waste of time. The defendant obviously has no experience. How could he possibly carry out a cross-examination? There's the objection. The defense is asserting its right to a cross-examination. Whether or not you think he's capable of it is irrelevant. Cosmo is so commanding. Very well. Let the defense conduct a cross-examination of the witnesses. Alright, this is where the battle really begins, Varanowski, but I don't even know what I have to do in a cross-examination. Isn't it obvious? You have to expose the lies in the witnesses' statements. How? You didn't fire the gun, which means that what that soldier said has to be a lie. Well, yes, but it's just a case of proving it, and the key to doing that is evidence. Right, evidence. All you need to do is present some decisive and indisputable evidence that proves the witness is lying. Now let's go, Ryunosuke. Don't let them beat you. I like him looking down at his hand. That was pretty good. Alright then, it's all or nothing. Alright, what's the music for this time? For this. Alright, how do I... Okay, I see. Is there not a way for me to... Oh, that's really annoying. I'm gonna check something. If I turn this on, maybe I can... There we go. That's what I was wanting. So now I can jump around. Oh, wait, no, it's this one. The black uniformed varsity cadet fired on the English civilian and from the back. Present... Let's make sure. Yes, that is his head. So, present
yes!
that. Silence. What? What are you playing at, cadet? What is the meaning of this subordination, thrusting some photographic print in my mustache? Inconsistency, sir. I mean, yes. There's a clear inconsistency here. What nonsense! What can this print possibly tell us that we don't already know? This print that I gave you! Well, obviously, that, I know I want to say, but I just can't say it. I think this proves beyond any doubt, Your Excellency, that there is no place for an amateur student here in this grand courtroom. It's so frustrating. Oh, please. Surely this doesn't require an explanation. It couldn't be more plain. To spell it out would be an insult to the court. Kazuma, what? What are you talking about? It's apparent from a single glance at the photographic print presented by the defense that there's a clear discrepancy here with the sergeant's statement. What? Sergeant Ayesa Nosa. His name is Ayesa Nosa. Ayesa no. Yes, sir. What, sir? The statement you just made was this. The black uniformed varsity cadet fired on the English civilian, and from the back, the cowardly little weasel. Yes, sir. Affirmative, sir. I witnessed the crime with my own military-grade eyes, yes! Sir. But no, that just can't be. And why not, cadet? Because... Take a close look at the print. The victim, Dr. Wilson, died from a bullet wound to the chest. Sergeant, according to your witness statement, the culprit shot the victim from behind. And that is the obvious discrepancy here. Well, how do you explain it? Oh, I'm sorry. I'm sorry, what? What just happened? What was that? Something just popped up from behind his back, but he pushed it down again. Certainly, there is a clear discrepancy with the facts here. Would you not agree, Sergeant Nosa? Yes, sir. At this juncture, that would appear to be indisputable. Until the moment I heard the firearm discharge, my eyes were firmly fixed on the delicious La Carnival steak, sir. What? The last testimony the court heard has proven one thing beyond all reasonable doubt. This witness, Sergeant Ayesanosa, did not see the defendant firing a gun at all. That's absurd. I think the conclusion we must draw is simple. There is no place for an amateur prosecutor here in this grand courtroom. Damn. That was rough. There's been a complete turnabout in the mood of this trial from just that one discrepancy. So this is what being an ace attorney is all about. Roll credits! The baby is sleeping. But I definitely saw him. That university cadet there, he was pointing the firearm directly at the victim's back. Yes! But I never fired the gun. All I did was pick it up off the floor. And you, old man. He didn't call him by his name, he just called him old man. You didn't see the moment the victim was shot either. Myself, I have already been quite clear. The gunshot interested me not. I was far too busy on the floor. Too busy on the floor, sorry. What were you doing? Hunting for treasure. Treasure? Indeed, the Hoi Era Koban, my prized coin. On each occasion when I visit that restaurant, it is my habitude to place my bosom pocket in my bosom pocket a particular trinket of interest from my shop, Razute. In the hope of meeting a rich diner who might like to buy it from you, on the day under scrutiny, it was to the military man that I proffered my Hoi treasure. Believe that he would purchase such a rare find, I did not, but I was presented with little alternative. And then, after averting my eyes for the briefest of moments, it was no more. It simply vanished. The Koban vanished? Hunting around, the baby has it, hunting around under the table, and I was, in case mayhap it hunting around under the table I was, in case mayhap it had fallen there, and then it happened. Bang. You heard the gunshot, you mean? Indeed I did, but I heeded it not, for I was concerned only with finding my absconded Hoi treasure. Nothing could distract me. Out of interest, did you find the coin in the end? No. Called it. I see. That lamentable day, the precious Hoi Kaban was lost to me. No doubt, some unscrupulous scoundrel pocketed the prize coin for himself. He's blaming the soldier. I am sure everyone present is aware, this case demands a swift and decisive resolution. Our government has promised to send a full report to Great Britain by telegraph this very afternoon. Nevertheless, the witness testimony the court has just heard was inconclusive. No matter how subservient our government feels it must be to the British, it would be unforgivable to deliver a verdict on this trial right now. What is your position, Prosecutor Auchi? Worry not, Your Excellency. The defendant may have fled a tiger at the front gate, but he will find a wolf at the back. I'm pretty sure this is old. Like in older times, because they also talked about how photography is like brand new. So I think it's like Victorian era, something around there. Victorian era might even be too far back. But I think they said it was like Victorian era in the description. They also talk about how like courts and judges and lawyers are like new. Yeah, it's like the late 1800s or something like that. My witnesses have further testimony to make. Explain. Upon hearing their next statements, it will become abundantly clear that there is only one person who could possibly have committed this despicable crime. The equally despicable defendant, Ryunosuke Naruhodo. What? Guys, it happened. It's not blowing in the wind. He really seems to have a despicable opinion of you, doesn't he? Very well, the court invites the witnesses to testify again. You will thoroughly explain the reasoning behind the prosecution's allegation. Is that clear? As clear as Kiriko glass, Your Excellency. Yes, sir, at once, sir. Awaiting signal to testify, sir. Hi, baby. Excuse me, but there's something or someone peeking out over your shoulder, I think? Affirmative. The newest member of the Nosa family to rise up through the ranks, sir. Name, Ido. Ido Nosa. It would seem those straps are a sign of the sergeant being too strapped to afford a nanny. Ido Tinshin. Your father is about to quell the enemy. Watch and learn, my boy. What is happening? You guys, I don't think you guys got to see that because of my camera. But I hope you did. Even if what I say wasn't the precise moment the firearm was discharged, it's almost the same thing. Yes, pointing his gun at the foreign man, he was that young lad in black. That much I myself did see. Furthermore, a visual search of the premises at the time confirmed we were the only personnel present. Indeed, alone he was, the Englishman, dining all by himself. Therefore, no one other than the black uniformed cadet could have dispatched the Englishman. Over and out.
Yes!
These testimonies. Yes? Wait, that's nonsense. The victim, Dr. Wilson, wasn't alone at all. Please, enough of these outbursts already. But there was a woman, there was a young woman at his table. You must have seen her. Everyone there must have seen her. If you call yourself a lawyer, then you will respect the rules of the court and speak accordingly. We are not here to listen to your fantasies. It is evident beyond all reasonable doubt that the victim was alone at the time of the incident. The prosecution has photographic evidence of this fact. Is this a photographic print of the scene of the crime, counsel? Indeed, are at the table at which the victim was dining, taken by an investigator immediately after the incident. As can plainly be seen, there is only one place set. Certainly, based on the appearance of this print... Oh, crap. It would be reasonable to conclude that the victim was not in the company of anyone else. This doesn't make any sense. The court will add this new photographic evidence to the record. That's going to be important. I don't understand. What's going on here? It's just not possible that nobody else saw that woman. Whoa, man. See ya, St. United. Have a good time at work. The waiter before said the same thing. He maintains that Dr. Wilson came to the restaurant alone as well, but that's not true. I saw her. I swear that I saw a woman with him. Crap. It would seem that we'll be able to telegraph the report to Great Britain on time after all. The witness testimonies we have just heard leave no further room for doubt. These are very sensitive political times, as we all know. The ink is still fresh on the treaty with Great Britain. To think that I, Takasushi Aochi, will have contributed to the amity of these two great empires is an honor. How can this be happening? Those... Is that? Yeah, I know those actually check out. The location on the map is a little sketch. Yeah, the stake is behind him too, which is it. What if he wasn't sitting at that table? What if that table was a different table? The judge is ready to rule. Stand tall, Ryunosuke. It's not over yet. What? If what you say is true, then there's something going on here behind the scenes. And now is your chance to expose it, to draw out the truth in your cross-examination. I don't know, Kazuma. The defense is entitled to cross-examine the witness, but make it quick, understood? I should also throw out to chat to let you guys know, I'm probably not looking at chat unless I get stuck, generally speaking, because I obviously don't want to take the answers from chat on what's happening, so... Rules can be so unbending at times. Even if what I saw wasn't the precise moment the firearm was discharged, it's almost the same thing. Yes, pointing his gun at the foreign man, he was, that young lad, that much I did see, I can't disprove that. Furthermore, a visual search of the premises at the time confirmed we were the only personnel present. Indeed, alone he was the Englishman, dining all by himself. Therefore, no one other than the black uniformed cadet could have dispatched the Englishman. Which one do I do this on? I can't disprove dining all by himself. I can point out this, I think? Let me see. Alone he was, dining all by himself. A visual search confirmed that we were the only personnel present. Maybe it's that? I feel like...
Yes!
Is that the... Okay, no, that's not it. I feel like it has to do with that photo, though. Pointing the gun... Wait a second. Pointing the gun I can't prove. There's nothing there. Alone he was, dining all by himself. Wait, no, I didn't mean to click through all the way. Ah! What do you think, Ryunosuke? Oh. What's the matter? I can't find anything. I'm done for. I can't win this trial. No, 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 no. Listen, the first thing to do is calm down. You can't expect witness statements to be full of holes every time, so just take your time and try to tease. Oh, they want me to push. Okay. They want me to press a point. I didn't even think about that. If anything slightly jars me, then press. Okay. Like, they didn't tell me to press until I clicked all the way through. I felt like there was like nothing specific that I... Confirmed that we were the only personnel present. Indeed, alone he was, dining all by himself. No one other than the black uniformed cadet could have dispatched. So let's try pressing this statement.
Yes!
You must have noticed someone else at Dr. Wilson's table. There was a lady there. Objection? As you have been at pains to point out time and time again, I feel like I'm growing a callus in my ear. And yet, no one else appears to have caught even a glimpse of this woman. If only been more people dining there, there'd be someone who would have noticed her. It was only past 2 p.m. when it happened, the quiet time in between lunch and dinner at any restaurant. It's almost empty is what you would expect. Certainly, 2 p.m. is neither here nor there in terms of time to eat. I wonder if there was a reason why the victim was eating at that time of day and why he was alone. Yes, Your Excellency, there was indeed a reason. This was found in the victim's jacket pocket. What is that, Counsel? It is a medical report card, Your Excellency. It would seem the victim had an appointment at a clinic prior to visiting the restaurant. Hada Clinic. Yes, that would indeed appear to be an entry for the date in question. 19th November, noon to past 1 p.m. The very day of the incident. So the victim went for a late lunch following his appointment. The explanation couldn't be more simple. The prosecution felt no need to submit this evidence before, as it really has no bearing on the case. I can try to use Yoda voice. I wonder, what do you think, Ryunosuke? Well, it's hard to see how it could be related, really. Remember, you can request what be entered into the court record as evidence if you think it could be useful. Please.
Yes!
Yes! If I may, I'd like to ask for that. Yeah, not giving more evidence, so shady. Look, this is also the game that later on will let me go to the court as go to the scene of the crime as the lawyer, get the evidence, and then present it as I need to prove that the prosecution is lying. This game does not care about what actual procedure would be, and that's why I love it. If I may, I'd like to ask for that medical report card to be submitted as evidence, Your Excellency. On what grounds? The court has already heard conclusive witness testimony. Additional evidence would be extraneous. Not to mention that the victim's movements prior to his arrival at the restaurant are of no concern. Objection? Whether or not they are of concern is up to us to decide. We have a right to explore all possible avenues. I beg your pardon. You have no authority to refuse a perfectly valid request for the submission of evidence. Very well, the court will grant the defense's request. Youngsters these days are forever asserting their rights. It's a most disturbing trend. Officer, kindly add the victim's medical report card to the court record. What we need right now is new clues. We have to explore things from every possible angle, even if they don't seem relevant at first. Right, I hear you. You can conspire to prolong this trial as much as you like, but it's the day after the festival already for you. Or perhaps you'd forgotten that these witness testimonies leave no room for doubt. Feel free to reiterate for the accused, Korakura-san. Reiterate? Alone he was dining all by himself. 1 second. Present. I want to take a closer look at this. Medical report card. Okay. A bottle of carbonated water and a steak can be seen on the victim's table. I don't think it's the victim's table, though. No one other than the black uniformed cadet could have dispatched the Englishman. You know what? Let's go ahead and press alone he was dining all by himself. So you actually saw that with your own eyes, did you? The victim, Dr. Wilson, dining alone? That I did. Forgive me for the position I place you in. So the testimonies of the old man, the soldier, and the waiter all agree on that point. Isn't that interesting? And let us not forget the incontestable evidence we have to support their statements as well. As can clearly be seen, there is only a single beef steak on the victim's table, a meal for one. No. The antiques dealer, the sergeant, and the waiter who testified before. It's not impossible that they're all lying. But if so, then why? If I'm perfectly honest, I have absolutely no idea. Yes! Press on that? Why aren't you telling the truth? What did you say, Cadet? I clearly remember. There was a woman sitting across the table from the professor. Perhaps one of you might not have noticed, but for both of you to have failed to see the professor's dining companion is just not possible. Unfortunately for you, Defendant Naruhodo, it is not just a case of these two witnesses alone. Sorry? The waiter, whose testimony the court heard earlier, clearly stated the same thing. He also said the victim was alone. That's right. Precisely! In other words, you are the sole proponent of this phantom lady. But if such a woman were indeed present at the scene, the prosecution demands to see proof. And if no such proof exists, the prosecution demands that no further mention of this phantom woman be made. It is a blatant waste of the court's time. There's nothing I can say to that? Chahahaha? I don't know. Excellent work, Ryunosuke. We've gleaned some new information now. Well, yes, but I don't feel like it changes much. I can't see that it brings any real discrepancies to light. I wouldn't be so sure. Let me see that medical report card you got before. Oh, you mean this? Yes, this is a brand new piece of evidence, so perhaps we should examine it in a little more detail. Okay, now the game's going to teach me how to examine things. I need to keep in mind that the game, you notice this piece of evidence, a magnifying glass you may examine. Press A to take a closer look at the piece in question. Use the right stick. Oh, right stick will turn it. Yo. To rotate it. By using left stick, I can highlight. Okay. You can move the crosshairs around to hunt for clues that may have been missed before. In the crosshairs, press A to investigate further. Okay. So, partner, I think you should take a close look at this report card. I need to use it right stick, left stick, and A. Let's look at the back. Please open. Thank you. What does this say? Let's have a look. This is some kind of medical history. And there's an entry for the day Professor was killed. Extraction of molar with topical anesthesia. Extraction of molar, you mean he had a tooth taken out? It would seem so. Just before the incident, he had a bad tooth removed. Perhaps they used laughing gas. That's the most modern practice in the West for pain relief. Yes, I've heard of this anesthesia. Although it's hard to believe there's anything that can actually stop you feeling pain. There's a cautionary note from the medical practitioner as well. Strictly no food or drink besides water for 3 hours post-procedure until anesthetic effects have passed. Sounds like information worth bearing in mind. So how could he have eaten the steak? He couldn't have eaten the steak. Let me find it. Pointing the gun. Only personnel present. Dining all by himself. Dining all by himself.
Yes!
There we go. We solved one thing. Well, I think, about what are you wittering, lad? Call yourself a lawyer. I wish I could, but first and foremost here, I'm the accused. Ryunosuke. Everyone stumbles on the words occasionally. Under the circumstances, I wouldn't worry about it. Thanks, Kazuma. I could see it quite clearly in that cross-examination you just carried out. When you raised your hand straight up like that, so purposefully, you knew exactly what it was you wanted to say. Don't feel like you have to choose your words carefully, just say what you're thinking. Alright, and thanks for the advice. Deep breath. Korakuta-san, this is a medical report card belonging to the victim. Ah, I see, and I don't see. What of it, boy? Comparing what is written on this report card with your witness statement, something clearly doesn't add up. I really like that he looks at his hand after he does that. Like he's still a little unsure. Dear me, have you forgotten my words so soon, you amateur? Sorry, what? You are not to interrupt the court proceedings with your amateurish drivel. But let's see if I can explain in words you might understand. It was after 2 p.m. in the afternoon when the victim was murdered at the restaurant. Whatever he may or may not have done before that time is completely irrelevant. But that's, Remember, Ryunosuke, you don't have to use clever language or fancy words. Just make your point. I do like the animation, yeah. Your Excellency, I believe we're finished here. There is surely no need to prolong this trial further. The witness testimonies in this court have been clear and concise. This medical report card has no bearing on the matter at all, for the simple reason that there is no one else besides the pale-faced pupil who could have possibly perpetrated the crime. The medical report card has nothing to do with the case. Do you really believe that? What? That outburst half petrified me, boy. Of course I believe it. How could it possibly be relevant? Perhaps because Hada Clinic, which issued the report card, is a dental clinic. A dental clinic? Is that supposed to mean something to me? Perhaps if I told you that the victim had just had a tooth extracted? What's this now? And furthermore, if I told you that as a result, the victim had been forbidden from eating? Just what are you trying to say, cadet? He had orders not to eat, so what? It's all written up in here. No food or drink other than water for 3 hours post-procedure while anesthesia wears off. What? No, that can't... Korakuta-san. What, boy? What? As you just heard, when he was killed, sometime shortly after 2 p.m., the victim couldn't have been eating anything at all. No. No. Additionally, there's more? You have assured the court with unwavering self-confidence that the victim was dining alone. But that cannot possibly be the case. Because the victim, as we now know, had just had one of his teeth extracted and was still experiencing the effects of the anesthetic. Arg! Expertly done, partner. The baby! That's so good.
Objection!
What is this nonsense, you little upstart? These are baseless accusations. Just look at this photographic evidence. Carbonated water. He wasn't supposed to have anything but water. You can clearly see the plate of food at the victim's table. Use your head. That's the very discrepancy we're talking about, or can't you follow the logic? How dare you? I think it's fair to say that the tables in this restaurant case have turned. Wouldn't you agree, Ryunosuke? I'm pretty sure I'm saying his name wrong. I'm pretty sure it's Ryunosuke? Ryunosuke? Something like that. Yes, most definitely. So having just undergone some dental surgery, the victim was unable to eat. Which leaves one very crucial conundrum. Who, in fact, was eating the pictured beef steak? It's only such a good line. The court will now hear the opinion on the defense of this new puzzle. I assume you're ready, counsel? Counsel? Oh, that means me, doesn't it? Alright, the answer to this question is going to be pivotal. This is the start of you turning this trial around. Ryunosuke? What is... One moment, I'm sorry, I need to check something really quick. Quite good already. I'm trying. I'm not the greatest. I used to watch a lot of anime, so I kind of know Japanese names a little bit, but got it. So the person eating the steak at the victim's table must have been an me. This is a tutorial trial, yes. An as of yet unknown third party. Obviously, it can only have been someone else who was sitting at the professor's table. You will not let this go, will you? There was no such person. There was, because I saw her. When the incident occurred, we know that the victim couldn't have been eating anything. Yet we have evidence of a half-eaten steak on his table. Therefore, the only logical conclusion is that there was somebody else there eating it. Erg! We have strong evidence to support our assertion. It's clear that these witness testimonies are unreliable. If the court decides to push through with a ruling at this stage, we will lodge a formal complaint with the Ministry of Justice and pursue a fair retrial relentlessly. I will draw my sword and kill the witnesses and the judge. Kazuma, are you insane? You would take on the government? Don't worry, counsel. I have no issue with you. What do you mean? I have issue with them, those two witnesses in the stand. What? What are you talking about? We have demonstrated with evidence that the victim was not alone. So if it now turns out that the two of you deliberately lied when giving your testimonies, obviously you will be charged with perjury. And since this is a murder trial, you will also be deemed complicit in the killing. Complicit in murder? No. No. What is the Star Wars no? Negative. There was no mention of this at the tactical meeting. I was just following orders. Whoa, what? That's right, as the man says. Just say you never saw the gentlewoman. That's what they, told us. Oh. What? What did you just say, Korakuda-san? Oh, no. You were just following orders. Now hold on, lad. I was, say you never saw the gentlewoman. When you say gentlewoman, do you mean you saw the victim with a lady from overseas? What?
Objection!
What is the meaning of all this? These witnesses gave false statements. Is this true, you pair? Just one simple slip of the tongue. I wonder if Ouchie knew that. Order, counsel, explain what is going on here. It is painfully clear now. You tried to prevent these witnesses from telling the truth. Absolutely not. The prosecution knows nothing of this. So good, dude. He goes. Then who's behind this? Who tried to make you keep your mouth shut? Well, that's classified. So you're prepared to be tried as a conspirator to this murder, are you? Ooh, you wouldn't. This can't be happening. Runosuke, judging from the way they're reacting to this, I'd say they were sworn to silence by someone with considerable influence. However, I don't believe Ouchie had any idea about it. What are you saying? I mean, to wield that kind of influence, there are only a handful of possibilities. It could have only been the government, the military, or the police, I suppose. Well, any ideas about who might be behind this? If we can affirm who tried to silence these witnesses, then we can continue our pursuit. So we need to name whoever it was that tried to make the witnesses keep their mouths shut. Of course, we'll need evidence before we make any firm accusations. Evidence that proves whoever it was really did wield his or her power here. But how? How can we possibly? Remember how we made progress before? We examined this piece of evidence in more detail and found a new clue as a result. Oh yes, that's right. Well, that's not the only piece of evidence we have, is it? We need to re-examine everything and make sure there's nothing we missed. There's no time to lose. Oh, the card. I want answers. If it's proven these witnesses have been manipulated, I assure you the penalty will be severe. Please, wait, Your Excellency, I had no idea about any of this. I swear to every Shinto god, I knew nothing. What does the defense have to say about all this, well, Your Excellency, no time to think. I'm just going to have to close my eyes and shout the first thing that comes into my head. Besides the prosecution, the only person with necessary influence to manipulate the witness is... One second. Okay. Besides the prosecution, the only person with necessary influence to manipulate the witness. Oh, it has to be him, right?
Yes!
Well, surely that would be Satoru Hosonaga-san. Hosonaga-san? The waiter who took the stand earlier? Poppycock! What possible reason would the waiter have to make these witnesses give false testimony? Not to mention the fact that even a head waiter could not possibly have that level of influence. For once, I would agree with you. If that is, the man truly were a waiter. Let's go ahead. I want to do this. Oh, look at that. Primary Investigation Division, Imperial Police Bureau. Well, if he truly were... Come on, Ryunosuke. Time to hit the court with the truth. I hope I don't need to... Well, I can't... do I need to do that? Well, that's unexpected. What is? Look, do you see it says witness's name here? Satoru Hosonaga. Well, yes, business cards do tend to show the person's name. That's sort of the point. It's not the name that's unexpected, it's his job title. Chief Inspector Satoru Hosonaga, Primary Criminal Investigation Division, Imperial Police Bureau. Inspector? What on earth? I have no idea, but let's face it, the police have a lot of power and influence if they're wielding it somehow here. There we go. Now it got updated and now it's going to be... Now I can present it. The plan of the restaurant sketched by the man in question. I agree it shows a great deal of attention to detail, but I'm not sure we can conclude anything. Sorry, Your Excellency, that's the back of the card. It's the back of the card that's of interest. I beg your pardon. Or perhaps I should have said the front? Yes, it's the front of the back of the card. That's where the telling detail is. Would somebody please explain what this overexcited student is trying to say? Hosonaga-san sketched the plan of this restaurant on the reverse side of his business card. The front of that business card reveals the man in question's profession, his true profession, which is why he was so nervous when he had to give it up. The waiter's profession, but that's surely... Good gracious. That's right, Your Excellency. The card reads, Chief Inspector, Primary Criminal Investigation Division, Imperial Police Bureau. What? Then the waiter is a police detective? I haven't heard any mention of this before. Why haven't I heard any mention of this before? The Imperial Police Bureau has immense power. Absolute power as far as regular civilians are concerned. So, witnesses there in the stand. Was it in fact the waiter who gave you your orders? Was it he who told you not to mention that you'd seen this foreign gentlewoman at the scene? Well... Oh, Inspector Hosonaga. I was worried something like this may happen. The moment you asked me to submit my sketch as evidence, I realized it was a possibility. Are we really back going back to this? The court will take this plan and add it to the court record as evidence. Oh, well, is there a problem? Hand the plan to the court officer at once. Of course. Here you are. Yes, I remember now. He did act strangely when the judge asked him to hand over his business card. I strive to carry out all investigations flawlessly. It's my guiding principle. But I let myself be distracted when I made that sketch. It was an unusually careless mistake. So, you mean to say you really are a detective? But why would a detective be working as a restaurant waiter? Ah, of course, your salary must be terrible. I didn't skip that one, guys. It jumped itself. I was working undercover. Undercover? Yes, there have been a series of incidents at the restaurant recently. In order to investigate, I decided to get a job there as a waiter, working undercover. Incidents at the restaurant? What kind of incidents? I won't tell you. That would be classified police information, which I am not at liberty to divulge. However, I can state categorically that they are unrelated to this case of homicide. Very well then, Inspector Hosonaga, but you will elaborate on one point for the court. Of course, Your Excellency. We have just heard new information from the two witnesses beside you. That at the time of the shooting, there was in fact another person present at the victim's table. If that is indeed true, clearly you would also have been aware of this person's presence, having served at the table in question. However, your testimony did not allude to this other diner, therefore I am led to assume that in your professional capacity as a police officer, you required these witnesses to be in agreement. Would that be correct? Ahem, ahem. correct, Your Excellency. Unbelievable. As I suspected. Oh, okay. I was like, did he just get shot? As soon as I heard the gunshot, I ran out of the kitchen to see what had happened. The victim sat slumped in his chair, and beside him, gun in hand, stood the accused student. Sitting opposite the victim at the same table was a young lady whom I guessed to be an English woman. So the truth comes out. I immediately sealed off the restaurant and reported the incident to the bureau. It was then that I received some special orders. Oh, special orders? You mean to say, remove the English woman from the scene at once. It was made clear that the English woman's presence at the restaurant was to be concealed. Those were my orders. But what if this English woman was the killer? I think it would be in everyone's best interest not to pursue that idea. The Empire views the friendly terms of its relationship with Britain more highly than anything at the moment. An Englishman has been murdered on our soil. To name an English woman as the primary suspect, well, without irrefutable evidence, that would be completely out of the question. So that's the reason for the disappearance of the Phantom Woman in this case. But it's not right. One possibility does spring to mind. What do you mean, Cosima? Yume University is currently hosting a number of exchange students from Great Britain, and I'm fairly certain that one of them, studying in the Medical Factory's research laboratory, is a young English woman. Here comes that music. What? You're a shrewd man. I can see why you're the chosen candidate for the overseas study tour. You mean, when I removed the woman from the scene of the crime, I thought it prudent to check her identity first. Then the court demands that you name the lady in question at once, Inspector. The Englishwoman sitting at the university professor's table was a certain Miss Jezeel Brett. She was indeed a foreign student studying in the research laboratory of Yume University's medical faculty. What is happening here? See ya, Dark Angel. I admit that under orders from the police bureau, I erased all evidence of this lady's presence at the scene and ordered these witnesses to make no mention of her in their testimonies. It must now be up to Your Excellency to decide how to deal with this situation. Very well. My thoughts on the matter are as follows. Thus far, the case presented to the court has been underpinned by a particularly critical premise. Namely, that the victim was dining alone. However, as we have now discovered that this premise is false, it would be a desecration of our justice system to ignore the truth and give a ruling at this point. But, Your Excellency, that would mean missing the noon deadline of a ruling in order to send the telegraphic report to Great Britain. Our own government will surely be very displeased by such actions. Calm yourself, Counsel. I will not allow the government of our country or any other to influence the proceedings of my courtroom. Yo, this guy's a beast. Inspector Hosonaga. Yes, sir. You will locate this Jezeel Brett and escort her to the courtroom with the utmost urgency. At once, Your Excellency. But that means you'll be going against the special orders you were given from the police bureau. As I said before, it is my guiding principle to carry out all investigations flawlessly. So it won't be a problem. Hi, Marion. Uh-oh. He coughs. Nothing will get in my way. Except for maybe death. Court will adjourn briefly. The prosecution must call the English student Jezeel Brett to the witness stand. Do I make myself clear? Yes. Your Excellency. Good. Then we will have a 30-minute recess before reconvening. To be continued.